Welcome back to Smart Haus, everybody. I had another prompt, another idea to bring to the table.
Oh.
If we're not careful, we're going to get too erudite and we're going to lose the common person.
Well, I think this will bring in some of the common folk.
Oh, sick.
Get ready, common folk.
My pitch is Junk House is Seinfeld. The show Seinfeld. The show about nothing. This is the podcast version of a show about nothing.
You better be real careful before you compare us to Seinfeld. You're kind of right.
What's the deal with airline food?
It's a psychobilly freakout!
I can see where you're coming from with that, though.
Yeah, it's like the whole idea of Seinfeld is yeah, you're right. Like you said, it's a show about nothing. And what is Junk House about but nothing?
And everything. And New York, baby.
New York.
And no soup for you. That's Junk House, you know?
That's Junk House.
You
You remember when we did the no soup? You remember that?
Oh, you mean last week?
Yeah.
I'm looking up something real quick. This is a bit behind the bit. I've gone to an etymology website to look up the etymology of the word nothing because I'm curious to see if it ever meant anything else. Apparently the word nothing has existed since Middle English to Old English.
Ooh.
Wow. And it's always meant the same thing. It never had really any other meaning, which is interesting because some words change meanings over time, but apparently nothing has always meant the same thing of just insignificant thing of no consequence. Huh.
A podcast.
I mean, it's kind of the perfect word, right? No,
it really is.
Thing. You can't get a word that says what it is more than that word.
It's
so actually, that
door as well.
That is one thing. The word has evolved a little bit because originally it wasn't pronounced nothing; it was pronounced none thing. And then we dropped, none thing.
I still agree that it's perfect in all permutations.
Yeah, I just thought it'd be interesting to bring up the fact that it was originally just a different word, but then we made it into this word.
Yeah, I mean, I do think on the Seinfeld comparison that there is something to be said that we are kind of a show about nothing. But here's my counterpoint. I think the reason we chose the name Junk House was because we were a show kind of about everything. I think we're almost the anti-Seinfeld. Because whereas Seinfeld, the whole thing is they never learned, they never apologized, they never grew, right? They never changed. With us, I think we're learning and growing and changing a good bit at the same time as we're goofy friends. So we're kind of about everything. And that's my counter argument.
We're Planet Earth, the show about everything.
Yes. Welcome to Planet Earth.
A great show to watch while high.
Agreed.
I bet.
Also, y'all know something I'm learning? This is fun. I'm still on the etymology website.
I love etymology, so I'm in your corner here.
So, 1820 is the peak of people using the word nothing in written anything. That is when it peaked. And then it
What
goes
did
on
they
a
know?
Exactly. They know nothing, right? It's the 1820s.
No, they know too much, clearly.
But then it starts rapidly declining. And people are not writing as often until 1989 is when it finally goes back on the uptick. What show premieres in 1989? And I think it's the reason of the uptick. It's Seinfeld, which at its lowest point, it went from 1820, the peak was around 300 million occurrences in 1820 in writing wise, specifically 326.65 million occurrences of the word nothing written in 1820. And then it gets as low as in 1983 is kind of its low point. It's gone all the way down to 95.46 million. So used still a lot, but in comparison to its heyday, nothing. And then it started climbing in 1989. And right now it started to plateau around 2018, 2019. And you know who's not as relevant 2018, 2019? Jerry Seinfeld. Because he's out getting coffee with Obama.
So is he the arbiter of nothingness?
I think so.
Yeah. Which horseman is that? Which horseman is which horseman? Is his real name Gerald? Please say his legal name, Jerry Seinfeld.
Also, I think I don't know if it's a horse. I think it's a pony of the apocalypse.
Y'all,
he rides a donkey.
It's not Gerald.
It's just Jerry?
It's Jerome Allen Seinfeld.
Jerome?
Telling you this guy has a cool name? That
Wait,
name
no,
is
what
freaking
if
Jerry.
it's Jeremy? What if it's Jeremy spelled weird?
No, it cannot be Jeremy. This has got to be. Hold on. Let me see if somebody's written it out in the International Phonetic Alphabet, because that would be very helpful. Nope, it's Jerome. It's Jerome Allen Seinfeld. And also Comedians and Cars Getting Coffee ended 2019. And that is when it started to plateau. So he really is the arbiter of nothing. Ooh, this is fun.
Wow. He was also in the B movie.
I
That's
don't know
true.
how I feel about this. I didn't think Jerry Seinfeld would be as influential to the language we use as he is.
I know. Seinfeld was such an important show, though, for a lot of older people.
It's true.
It's true.
But also,
it's other people's favorite show.
I'll phrase it this way. Cordell, what would you say is Jerry Seinfeld's main contribution to the English language? Because it's nothing.
It sounds like nothing, yeah.
Yeah, it's nothing. Which is
okay.
good.
If he made any phrase popular in our lexicon, it's "What's the deal?"
That's true.
That is, if you think about Jerry Seinfeld, that is the phrase you think of. And maybe he didn't even actually say those words, but that sentiment is Jerry Seinfeld.
That's true.
Airline food is weird.
What is the deal with it?
What's the deal?
He was asking an important question.
What's
Are
the
y'all
deal with bees having sex with human women?
Are y'all familiar with the Google Ngram viewer?
No.
What?
Okay, so the Ngram viewer is a chart that you can search for phrases and see their popularity over time as it spikes, going all the way back to 1800. And right now it caps at 2022. There's a bump in the 1980s. And then I think let's guess a little bit that peak Seinfeld having reruns on TV starts in the late 90s, right? Because like if
Yeah.
it starts premiering in 1989, they're probably not like, rerunning it that much. And then once the show's over, it picks up. 1998, there is a massive spike in What's the Deal on the Ngram viewer, and it's still trending upwards as of 2022.
So that's the deal, really.
That's the Jerry Seinfeld deal.
Yeah, and this does only
Jerome
search for
Seinfeld.
like its use in books. So that does present some problems because we're limiting it to books, which is for smart people.
That could be, transcripts of some of Jerry's, jokes, some of his sets in general. Like it could still be affected by.
Is that what
Mr.
National
Jerome.
Treasure? Is that what National Treasure 3 is going to be about? Is how the Library of Congress has all the transcripts of Jerry Seinfeld's great jokes?
Yeah, that's what it's been
I
about the
think
whole
so.
time.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That really makes sense.
And he's gonna meet up with Adam Sandler. And
Also,
they're gonna,
there's
try
a-
and get on the same page.
In the Ngram viewer, there's a drop off around 2016, 2017 with What's the Deal? And I like to think that's when we had to start dealing with Donald Trump regularly, and What's the Deal became What the Fuck for a very long time. And then it went back up, and then there's another dip. There's another dip in 2020, which, you know what? We were all saying it then, too. So anyway,
So
Google
what's the
Ngram
deal?
viewer. Right.
That's the deal.
Have y'all heard the thing where people claim that the phrase "sweet summer child" only became popular when Game of Thrones did, and everyone just falsely remembers growing up hearing it?
What?
Huh?
Y'all ever hear that?
No. What?
Guess not.
No.
Okay, so I'm pulling it up. So basically, yep. Okay, so if you go to Wiktionary, etymology of sweet summer child as an idiomatic phrase, apparently from the fantasy novel A Game of Thrones in 1996 by George R.R. Martin, although isolated occurrences go back to the 1800s. In the novel, a young boy is called a sweet summer child by an old woman since seasons last for years in the novel's world and he has yet to experience winter. Later popularized by its use in the episode Lord Snow in 2011. So it had like isolated usages for hundreds of years, but it became popular in the 90s after Game of Thrones and then in the 2010s really when the show aired. But some people talk about hearing it for their whole lives whenever there's a decent shot that at least culturally it wasn't said till Game of Thrones.
The Ngram does support that. That's
Ngram
crazy.
supports all. Can you send a link to this Ngram so I can get in on that action?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if there's a good
I don't
way
know
to-
anything, Caleb. I don't know a single thing about computers.
It's all computer.
You should be able to click that and then it'll...
Oh, it's literally in Gram.
Yeah, capital Ngram.
Yep. That is supported. So the 90s saw a tiny little blip, but it wasn't until Game of Thrones that it started climbing again. And you know what? If it's even supported further when you look at the fact that the show started before that episode, right? As many shows do.
Right.
And it started climbing before the episode aired because people started reading the series.
Yeah. And then they put it in their books because they think it's a fun phrase. And then it gets pushed into the Ngram viewer.
And then from the Ngram comes life.
People don't talk about life does not exist outside the Ngram.
It's true though.
Nothing exists that is not in Gram.
So similar to the Game of Thrones Sweet Summer Child though, what other Mandela effects are following us? I'm wondering what other things can we look up on the Engram and gain deep, beautiful knowledge about.
Well, I think it's kind of interesting. Like when you think about Mandela effects, a lot of them are stuff that like it's stuff that it's only debatable because it's not written down, you know, or it's like
or because enough people made a mistake about it and held the mistake, like the Berenstein Bears instead of
right. Exactly. What's y'all's favorite Mandela, at least? Let's talk about that.
I mean, it's got to be the main man, Nelson, right? Like,
I mean, shout out.
Shout out to Nelson, who everyone was fully certain was just dead the whole time. And then he gets released from prison and they're like, wait a minute. I was pretty sure you were dead. Now, I've been wrong before, Nelson, but you're dead.
This one's pretty... You're supposed to be dead.
Nelson, you're here? How are you here, Nelson?
Another classic that I always remember, I don't know if it's my favorite, but Darth Vader doesn't say, Luke, I am your father.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, he does not say that.
He goes, nah, dog. Nah, Luke, dumbass.
You straight up tripping, dummy.
It's me. I am your father.
Yep. He says that.
That's what he said.
He really does.
Have y'all ever thought about, like, when you imagine, like, old Mickey Mouse? Like, I'm talking like Steamboat Willie Mickey Mouse, right?
Willie.
Does he have suspenders?
Yes.
No.
That's another popular Mandela effect, is a lot of people believe that Mickey Mouse still wears suspenders. He has never worn suspenders.
Never.
Wow. He just got buttons.
He's just got buttons.
He's just got buttons.
It's just buttons. Do you hear me?
I think my actual favorite is people who think Looney Tunes is spelled Toons because they're cartoons.
Mm-mm.
It's Tunes.
Like music.
Yeah.
Okay. I gotta know. Crunk.
I'll tell you.
Crunk? Okay, so Crunk has a fascinating Engram history. I didn't expect this.
Now, are you spelling it like the character from...
No, not Crunk. Crunk.
Crunk, okay.
As in
C-U-R-N-K.
C-U-R-N-K.
Like getting crunk.
Getting crunk. So, in the 1800s, crunk fluctuated in usage throughout the 1800s. And the 1900s. Like, there are constant little dips. I wonder what... Caleb, how do you see, like, what are these percentages? How do you see, like, I want to know more about the Engram so I can interpret the crunk timeline.
So yeah.
If you look, there's a search in Google Books right below the graph, and you can click on a year period, and it should bring you to books from those periods. If not, you can just scroll down, and I'm seeing like crunk, crunk, crunk. The flats drummed onward, sifting, flickering sprays of gravel. Crunk, crunk, crunk. The flat with the dogs and the boys. That's from 1923.
Oh, so crunk was an onomatopoeia.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I'm seeing it
Alex
in
Crunk
censuses.
Pernant.
Yeah.
So in the way the percentage,
25 when he died.
The percentages work. So for listeners, the x-axis, because it's an XY graph. You know, it's one quadrant of a whole XY graph. Your x-axis is the years. The y-axis is the percentage of the total number of Engram entries for that year. So of all the possible entry, and that's every word in a book.
Every word
released that year. So, of the millions and billions of words released in a book in 2008, 0.00000017627% of those words were crunk.
Awesome.
1876. Mr. Crunk offered him the money for all our fares. We were on the train, told Mr. Crunk that day, ...
So, in a dictionary, in Johnson's English Dictionary by Samuel Johnson, to crunk is to cry like a crane.
That's interesting because I have it on an etymological website.
Yeah.
And this, where crunk is listed as a style of popular music developed in the U.S. South in the 1990s. By 1999, it was often said to be a slang contraction of crazy drunk. The identical word was used early in the slang sense of cool and good. So, Cordell, you're looking pretty crunk today.
Thanks, dog. You're looking pretty crunk, too. I think what's interesting is that it seems like the timeline kind of divvies up by usage shifting, is what it feels like. Because it goes 1800 to 1826. Then it goes 1827 to 2005. It takes 170-year stretch.
Jump, yeah.
So it's interesting how they divide that up, because if you look, whoa, in 2005 there's the Confessions of a Chat Room Terrorist. And crunk was used as some kind. Oh, crunk's a person. Crunk's one of the people in the Confessions of a Chat Room Terrorist.
Oh.
So crunk was an onomatopoeia for how birds sounded or how snare drums sounded, which is solid. That's a good one. But then it disappeared until the 90s.
Because if I asked you, Cordell, what do you associate crunk with now? Sammy and Cordell, what does crunk mean to you?
Oh, it's dancing.
Interesting.
I always just thought it meant cool. I always
thought it meant drunk.
Awesome.
Like, yeah, I'm getting crunk.
No.
Wow.
Crunk's you crunk to dance, I do believe. You're getting crunk.
I always thought getting crunk, it meant like, I'm getting crunk tonight. I thought it was somebody trying to say drunk, but funny. I'm getting crunk.
In a similar way of crunk, I just looked up Slizzard. And what is the first year that Slizzard shows up, do you think?
I don't know, but whenever G6 came out. Like
I was about to say, yeah, 2002, maybe?
There are excerpts from the 1960s where Slizzard was used in fiction. For this excerpt from The Lord of Light, ahead a crowd gathered to watch the passing troop. Horses were ridden only by those who could afford them, and few were that wealthy. The Slizzard was, I do come from a long line of Slizzard traders. The smell of Slizzard was strong upon the air. So, and then in another source, they use Slizzard to mean a snow blizzard.
Oh.
And then in the 70s to 2010, Slizzard shows up as it's meant to be, as God intended. But Slizzard is also Snake Lizard from Spy Kids 2.
And crunk is also a music genre.
Yeah. It's a way of life to get crunk.
You gotta get crunk. Popping bottles in the ice. Like a blizzard.
Getting slizzard.
When we drink, we do it right. Getting slizzard.
Getting slizzard.
Like 3-6? You know what I'm talking about?
I feel like in being introduced to the Engram, I I feel like I have a vast web of potential knowledge at my fingertips and no clue what to do with it.
You know what's also fun?
What?
Looking at the name popularity through Social Security. The popular baby name from the Social Security Administration, because they've got it like all the way back for like so long ago, you know? Like you can look up different.
Oh, yeah, you can.
It's pretty fun. It's pretty fun to go on there. Any year after 1879. So, you know what? Let's look up 1880s top 20 years. Top 20 names of 1880. Oh no, it's not letting me do it. No.
You're an idiot. I'm going to look up the popular names of the year 2836.
That is a year after 1879.
That's a year after 1879. Here we go to the future. So the most popular names in this year was an error was encountered while processing your request.
That's a very cute name. I love that.
Yeah,
it's
it's
cute.
Almost like it sounds Italian,
Pretty gender neutral, honestly.
right?
Yeah, that could be a
Lord,
boy or a
you know?
girl.
That's
Yeah.
fancy.
Call her Arrow.
Oh my gosh, you're right. Arrow. That is cute. Oh, that's cute. That is a cute name. Little
And not
Arrow.
at all associated with Twilight.
No.
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 No. No, it's not.
Okay, I'm beginning to think. So there is a story. My wife's name is Emily. Her mom named her Emily because she was like, I don't know anyone with that name.
Yeah.
That's not a common name. And then everyone's named Emily. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh, maybe 98 was the year it got big. But no, if I'm looking at every birth year for like a decade leading up, Emily is in the top 10 female baby names for like a full decade. I think her mother just wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, she never met an Emily she liked.
Yeah, she only hated Emily's and needed to make a good one.
Yeah, they weren't stuck in her mind because they were all evil.
I like it. I can't remember evil. It's impossible.
It's like my parents were like, Caleb, that's a cute boy's name that not many people are using. And I graduated with like 5 other Calebs. So it is funny seeing how like names do trend and popular. Like they trend and they go away and all that good stuff. It's just wild.
They ebb and they flow. Oh,
yeah.
Speaking of ebbing and flowing, I guess I have to admit something to y'all. I'm a dirty walking simulator fan.
What?
Wait.
I started playing Death Stranding.
Yes. Yes.
And it's a walking simulator. But
It
it's fun.
Hey, but Death is stranded, so good time to walk.
And now
It,
there's
like-
Death is Stranded 2 on the beach.
Which is honestly why I started playing it. I realized for some reason I have Death Stranding. I think I have it for free from Epic Games because I think they did that like months and months ago.
I think so.
And yeah, it's time to learn about the dead people and then the nukes that happen when the dead people eat the normal human people.
I
Do you
don't
wanna know
anything
my-
about this series.
Do you want to know my favorite hidden mechanic of Death Stranding?
Yes, and then we should combined, without looking anything up, try and explain to Cordell
Oh
Death
God!
Stranding.
So I feel like you'll find this very fun too, Cordell and you, Sammy. So Death Stranding is a hidden mechanic where, because even though it's like a single player game, right? Because it's connected to the internet, what it does is the path that you take, Sammy, if enough people walk the same path and that data is uploaded, the game changes and creates a path, like a legitimate, like, paved pathway there, instead of just rough rocks and trees and stuff in your way. And so, like, and apparently they kept that in Death Stranding 2 as well. So, like, but it's crazy. Like, the fact that they were like, hey, we're going to make it to where as you walk, the way you play, even though this is a single player game, the way you go will impact everyone else who plays this game potentially.
That's really cool and really connected to the theme of the game, which is like,
yes,
you're Cordell. So the whole thing is you're a porter. You're Norman Reedus. And,
I like him. He's Daryl from The Walking Dead.
He's freaking Daryl. The game starts out really cool too. It's him in a narration being like, there was an explosion and then the universe began and then blah, 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 blah. There was an explosion. Like, he keeps on saying there was an explosion and like explaining what happened when, I think he only goes through two. Like, there's the one that started the universe and then the one that started life. And then he goes, and then there was the third explosion.
What?
And then the game starts. And you're like, what the fuck does that mean? And what that means is there's these, so like, Caleb, do you want to explain what a beach is?
I can attempt to explain. I can try. So
here,
a beach is basically everybody has their. I'm not sure about this, so correct me if I'm wrong. But everyone has their own beach because it's a place that's. It's like somewhere you go just when you're about to die or you have a new near-death experience that kind of links you to the afterlife.
So like everybody has a limbo, kind of, and it's a beach.
Let's go to the beach. Beach.
Nicki Minaj. So there's these things called BTs, or beached things.
Okay.
That are basically like humans that like I guess kind of get stuck on the beaches and then like get sent back. And so like in our reality, they are invisible and like highly aggressive and like you mostly see them by the handprints they make on the ground. If a BT consumes normal human flesh, it creates a explosion equivalent to nukes.
So these invisible things go around and eat people and explode.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they also summon storm clouds of timefall, which is rain that ages whatever it touches.
Huh.
Yes.
What's that all about?
I'll tell you more when I finish the game, I guess. We can.
Yeah, I would tell you what it's about, but I don't want to spoil it for Sammy because this is an insane game.
Sammy, will you deafen so Caleb can bum fiddle for me? Or no?
No, because
you have to edit it. There's no way around this.
Yeah, it's different if I have to deafen because, like, you know, that's fine.
So what if Caleb deafens and tells us both, and then you edit it so only you hear and I don't get spoiled?
What if God deafens?
Wow.
Wow.
What if God deafened one of us?
What if? Well, that sounds like a neat concept. Deeply disturbing and upsetting, but neat. I would want to
Truly.
read about it.
And as I started playing the game, I was like, what Kojima, I think, is best at, I'm realizing, is taking like a very small concept or like a very random idea and then just going whoosh, whole world, giant explosions, blah blah blah. So like Metal Gear was like, it's really cool to shoot people when you're in a mech suit.
That's true.
Like mechs are cool,
Yeah.
right? And also being a spy with a gun is kind of cool. And then
Also true.
Death Stranding is straight up like, it's kind of cool and terrifying if people come back from limbo and they're not normal. And then he said, oh, and then also that makes nukes.
And then they explode.
And then they big boom time. He's just very good at what he does. And that, I mean, we are not the first and we will not be the last podcast to say that on
Yeah.
air.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
I was going to say, speaking of, if y'all don't mind, speaking of video game developers, did y'all hear the new rumor running around about Air Riders?
yeah, that I'm
No.
dating the developers. Yes.
So here is the rumor. So we all know Sakurai is involved and is the lead for Air
Mhm.
Riders. Apparently, Nintendo went to Sakurai years ago, after the last like big patch and stuff for Super Smash Brothers, right? Where he was
Yeah.
involved, and said, "Here's the Switch 2. Here's what we're doing. We need another Smash Bros." And the rumor is, and it's been kind of corroborated and like thrown around and a little bit confirmed, not fully, that Sakurai said, I will not do another Smash Bros. Until I can do Air Riders. Because this is the game he's been wanting to do this whole time. And
he's
apparently
gonna
he's
go
like
for that.
burnt out on Smash Bros.
That has been extra confirmed. Like years ago on his, whenever he first started his YouTube channel, he was like, there's a secret project that I really, really want to work on that I like is my dream game, or maybe not that far, but you know, it's like a project I've been personally working on. I can't say anything about it, blah, 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 blah. And it has always been Kirby Air Riders. Like he was basically forced into making the Smash games at some point
That makes
because he was
sense.
just
Man had a
too
passion
good
for
at
Kirby.
doing that. But yeah, he made Kirby. He invented and created Kirby and was like, this is my little guy. And I love this little guy. And I want to make this guy everything. And he
This
has.
is my little
and he
guy
will.
in whom I'm well pleased.
He like straight up made, I guess it was Smash 4. Yeah. Smash 4 when Kirby was like the only one that survived the big lasers.
Yep,
Uh-huh.
yep.
I mean, yeah, come on. Sonic the Hedgehog? No, Kirby. Kirby is the champion of the universe.
More like Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh
That's
my
Shadow.
gosh.
Do you think anyone's ever like made that specific joke?
Yes.
Yes.
Dang it. I was really hoping to be the first in a space. I want to be a pioneer so bad, but I'm not particularly capable or intelligent.
Did y'all know that Sakurai is also the voice of King DDD?
Really?
No,
Yeah.
but that makes sense. Got a cameo somehow.
Yeah.
I think, if anything, what many of these like Death Strandings and Smash Bros of the world, what they prove, ideas are cheap. It's all about execution.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like you can take any
You're so
weird,
right.
out there, absurd idea and execute it well, and you've got the hearts of the people.
Let's hope High Seas is good.
You know what I mean?
Let's hope the other creative projects we do end up good. Holy shit.
Have we talked about high seas much on this podcast? Or do you think it would be fun to like use this as a way for like, hey, if you're listening to this, we got another season of our other show coming up.
I think maybe we wait until it's like a little bit closer.
That's fair.
I think we'll do this right now and be like, hey, my season of our Nat Wonderful TTRP podcast is the next one coming up. And it's Pirates in the Sky, baby. And
there are pirates
Sly
in
Cooper
the
too.
sky.
Skyrates.
Skyrates on the silver lining. Arg.
Beautiful.
Arg.
But I guess we should talk about what we are doing next week.
Next week,
Next week,
it's the first week of July, and you know what that means? Pride's over. Boo. But
Wrath begins.
Which is Robert Pattinson month.
So friends, I came to the other two with a simple thought, and that's I really like March Movie Madness. I like movies, and I like talking movies with my friends on the Junk House. And they said, well, Cordell, what if we did it bi-monthly? And every other month, picked a new form of movie madness to step willfully and gleefully into. And I said, friends, that's genius. And that's what we're going to do.
We're also doing a fun addition to this game, this next one. We probably will continue to do it because I like this aspect.
Oh, yeah.
So we do have the classic 4 movies that we are for sure going to watch. But we've added a competitive aspect to this where we're trying to see who can watch the most Robert Pattinson movies. I think here's my pitch to the group. I think we don't reveal how many we have watched, how many points we have gained until the last week of July.
100%, yeah.
Because that gives you all month to keep adjust your score, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. And that means we will announce during the episode that is on August 1st.
Yeah. So we got our core 4 that will be the 4th, the 11th, the 18th, and the 25th. Those are the core 4.
Yep.
August 1st is the count up your points for all the bonus Robert Pattinson you got in there.
So everyone gets a guaranteed 4 points. And then whatever else you watch. And I like having a wrap up on the 1st of the next month to be like, okay, what'd we do?
Yeah, how are we doing?
I think that was a really smart idea, Sammy, to put it then instead of trying to cram it in on the 25th.
Right. And then that gives you that little bit of extra window to watch. And it only gives you 3 weeks for us to figure out the next movie madness we enter. And they don't all have to be competitions. Sometimes we can just savor things.
Yeah, but you can savor while savoring it competitively, you know?
No, I am going to be reasonably competitive for all of them. But
competitive savoring.
The nice thing about this show reportedly being a little bit about nothing is that we can kind of sit out for a brief period and not ruin the world, you know?
Yeah.
That's true. But next week, if you're wanting to join us on our March Movie Madness Core 4, or our Movie Madness Core 4, next week it is any Twilight movie. I will say, if you're counting your points at home, watching additional Twilight movies does not count. Because
we do not condone self-harm on the Junk House.
So true. And I hate those movies so much. This next week is my little personal hell. And I will 100% be talking about how much I hate whatever movie I watch. I will not reveal which one I'm going to watch yet, though.
No, you can't. Can I also say that I have a personal prediction?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh.
And that personal prediction is that Sammy is going to watch every Twilight movie for the moral victory. If not, like, if point victory can't happen, Sammy will watch them all for the moral victory.
Do you want me to bum fiddle or do you want me to wait?
No, I just want to find out if I'm right or not. But I can
Right now?
I can wait.
Okay.
Oh,
Because I have already watched the Twilight movie that I am watching. I've already watched
Interesting.
which one. Yeah.
Then we shall see, fair Samantha.
We shall see next week.
Next week shall be seeing. Next week.
Okay, but the next weeks. What
Yeah.
movie are we watching after Twilight?
What are we doing out here?
That's
I
a
don't know why
really
I said
good
that
question.
like a
That's a
kid's
really
show.
good question. And the answer is a movie that little bum fiddle, you can watch it backwards and forwards if you get what I mean. It's Tenet.
I still don't know where I can even watch this film. I don't know anything about this dang movie.
I may have to, I don't know where I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it though. It might be on HBO. That feels like an HBO movie.
I don't think it is. I may have to just rent it and be okay with that, because I'm a big, strong, brave boy.
It's not available for free
You
on
can
any
always
major.
grab an ad blocker and sail the high seas, of course. And I have some links that I can give you. But I understand if you do not want to do that.
Dost thou think me a criminal?
No, I just think you are similar to me. I think you would do something similar to me and enjoy free.com.
Perhaps. Perchance.
And then, the week after that, so the week of the 18th, if you're still watching along, we've got the Miyazaki that I can stand their artwork. It's Hayao Miyazaki's The Boy and the Heron. And that's, I always think it's funny that like two men who are known for like incredible Japanese art is the two Miyazakis, Hidetaka Miyazaki, who created Dark Souls, and then Hayao Miyazaki, who has done a lot of Studio Ghibli stuff. And I think that's a very funny coincidence.
I agree. Also, I do think it's funny on Letterboxd, they do not have the dub cast for most animes.
Whoa.
So fun thing about Letterboxd, I also realized, I guess like a month ago, if you go to like an actor or like a writer, it shows you the percentage of their works that you have watched. It's a really cool little feature. And so like I've been looking at Robert Pattinson, of course, getting ready for next month. And so like he's in like 53 films that are on Letterboxd, and looking through some of those, Letterboxd is also a little mean because some of those are like behind the scenes to the movies, and then some of those are movies that aren't out yet. So there's
crazy.
like The Odyssey, Batman 2, The Drama. The Drama is Robert and Zendaya, and it's gonna be like a rom-com, not a rom-com. It's gonna be a rom-dram, and I'm very excited about that now. One big reason we're also doing Robert is because he is my favorite actor. I think I'm confirming that he is my favorite actor right now. So I kind of was like, motherfuckers, let's do Robert Pattinson. I really like that guy a lot.
Live on air confirmation and declaration of favorite actor. You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah. Honestly, not bad, not mad, and I will stand by that declaration. At least for now. It can always change.
You can always change.
You can always change.
Like, what is life if you can't change?
But he is so talented. He is incredible. Oh yeah, what is the movie after The Boy and the Heron? The last movie of the month.
The other boy with the different heron.
That's right. It's The Boy and the Mermaid. Lighthouse.
And the mermaid, Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, old
and an
Willem
actual
Dafoe.
mermaid, possibly, depending on how you interpret the movie. Yeah, but yeah, if you're counting up your points at home, I've kind of been made the like point commissioner a little bit for at least this month, I would say, because it feels like
it will probably shift, but I also just feel like you are the most you're Switzerland. You're the most Swiss.
I'm pretty neutral on the RPATs. Yeah, those behind the scenes stuff that don't count as movies. That's not points.
Yeah, those don't count as movies, but there are like three quote music videos end quote made by Dior, the perfume company, that Robert is a model in, and we are counting if you watch all of those plus the music video he is in for the movie Good Time. If you watch all of those together, that should be 4 videos. That counts as a point. Should be less than like 30 minutes. But,
Right.
Yeah.
But like, it's about the level of commitment you have to put into it, you know?
Yeah.
That's what makes it.
You're willing to watch multiple perfume ads in their entirety.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
that is what you're demonstrating here.
Exactly.
There's also like 2 documentaries. I will say there are 2 documentaries he is in. One about Werner Herzog, and then one about the Safdie brothers. Those do not count because, again, it's the main thing is we are judging his acting prowess and discussing, his roles. So he seems like a chill dude in all of the interviews, and we're not judging him on how dope of a dude he is in real life because we don't know him.
Exactly. We're judging acting prowess only.
Exactly.
And voice acting, because voice acting is, equal. So boy in the hair, and even though we don't physically see him, voice acting is still acting.
Yeah.
Whatever follows, whatever movie madness takes over for the next group, though, I suggest we do the opposite for points and say that any discrete thing you can watch created by or involving that individual counts, whatever we decide it to be.
See, but here's the thing.
Okay.
I have a pitch for who I want to be the next one. And
honestly, what if the rest of this episode is we can discuss that pitch and we don't confirm it this episode, but we set up some idea, and then on the 1st of August, that is when we fully confirm who September's movie month will be.
I like that. I think also we can say like ideas, because I think we may all have somebody different we want to do. So
that's true.
Yeah, and it doesn't just have to be actors or directors. Like, I think the first 2 have been directors. So this is our first like actor.
We can pivot. We make the rules here.
We are god of this junk house. Oh, I did that accent. I'm sorry. Okay, but Caleb, who is your pitch?
I want Mel Brooks.
Ooh.
I want us to have an excuse to watch Blazing. Like, here's my ideal 4, and I think this goes through some different eras of Mel Brooks, okay? My ideal 4 would be Blazing Saddles, Spaceballs, Robin Hood Men in Tights, and The Producers, but the musical movie version, not the original.
You could get me on all those. I'm in. I would do all of that for sure. But
now
we do have
to
make
come
other
up with
pitches.
Yeah,
we have to come up. We can't just be done.
I can also discuss why I think those 4 qualify as different eras if you want me to, but
no, because
to give y'all some time.
No, I would. I'm in your corner with it. I just think we need other pitches. It can't be that simple. This is the junk house.
Yeah, just because I came up with the perfect pitch doesn't mean y'all don't get to get out of making pitches.
Yeah,
right. Because
exactly.
you know I'd be trying to worm my way out of it. For sure.
Absolutely.
I'm a worm.
Little worm boy.
Little
My
worm
pitch
boy.
is kind of a Cordell might pick this / would be kind of a gift to Cordell.
Aw.
Ooh.
And that's Robert Edgers.
Ooh.
Oh.
Because we could do Nosferatu, The Witch, The Northern Man. We could talk about The Lighthouse again, or we could watch some of his shorts and like talk about the collection of his shorts. Because he doesn't have a lot of movies. Oh, wait, but he does have, what's that one movie? Oh, yeah, okay. So he was, do you know about him being a costume designer for Yellow Brick Road?
No.
So there is this famously horrible horror movie that's like kind of, I guess, kind of supposed to be loosely Wizard of Oz based. Obviously, it's called Yellow Brick Road.
Uh-huh.
And Robert Edgers was the costume designer for it before he got big, before he ever actually directed really anything other than like shorts and stuff. And yeah, because that was like in 2010. And his first
he was a part of that, and he said, "Never again."
Yeah,
I can't
he said this
do
was
this
really
again.
bad.
LOL.
I'm gonna make The Witch because I need to do my own shit because that was terrible.
Now I could see him. I will say it would be hard to make a competition unless you dipped into things that he costume designed for and made
That
those
is
available.
the thing. Yeah. That is the thing.
I really like that though.
I think it could be very fun.
I feel like at some point as well, we have to do a Nolan and we have to do Tarantino.
But that
Just
day
agree.
is not today.
It is not today. Just to get the film bros off our nuts, you know. But
Or
I do
we let
have
them stay on our nuts.
I do have
They
a
can be on our
possible underrated director I think we could do 1 month as well, but I can
Who?
save that one. Rob Reiner. Because then we
okay.
could do like This Is Spinal Tap, Stand By Me, Princess Bride, A Few Good Men.
Oh, that is such a banger group.
I know. And that's not even like, in my opinion, that's not even like, I left out some stuff I would put up as some of his top movies. So, ooh.
Wow. Okay. Yes. Write that down.
Because we could also throw in Misery. What else could we throw in there? When Harry Met Sally.
Oh, they would be meeting, yeah.
And then we could throw in like maybe some of his early stuff. I don't know. I haven't seen, or some of his newer stuff. I haven't watched a lot of his new stuff.
Okay, I have a random point question.
Okay.
Not for any reason. Not for anything that I personally have been through. This is for my friend.
For sure.
This is for my friend. If you watched a full movie that didn't have subtitles and it wasn't in your native language, do you still get a point?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because here's the thing.
I'm gonna tell my friend because they're
dedication.
gonna say thank God. Because thank God. No reason though. No reason.
No.
I
think
Robert
the
Pattinson.
dedication alone qualifies that. Like you are being powerful and potent.
I mean,
Okay, but also Bong Joon-ho. We have to do a Bong Joon-ho.
Oh, please.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because we could do.
Yes.
I'm thinking Okja. We
Mhm.
do an actual official Mickey 17 discussion. We do a Parasite, and we do Snowpiercer. Or we could do
just
like
doesn't
The
miss.
Host or one of his older like.
I think The
horror
Host has
movies.
to be on there. If we
Okay,
do it.
what if we want to do The Host in this? Well, never mind. We'll talk about it in the future. But we're gonna do a Bong Joon-ho at
For
some
sure.
point as well. Incredible man, incredible artist.
I also think as an actress, I think Elaine May would be fun to do. And that would also get some like old school film bros off our back.
I want them on my back.
Okay, but Cordell, who are you thinking?
Oh, wait. Elaine May was in The Labyrinth? Yeah, we got to do her. We need to.
Yeah, Elaine May's great.
Okay, I mean, so here are a couple. Just things that would bring me joy. Jim
Yeah.
Henson.
Oh, God, yes.
Oh man.
Ah.
I would absolutely clobber y'all in a Jim Henson watch-a-thon.
Oh, you want to bet? You want to bet, Cordell?
I really do.
Here's the pitch. I'm selfish. And you know what September is?
It's not Pride Month.
My birthday month.
Yes.
And what if I said, yes, we have to watch Jim Henson? What if I just like forced my hand on something?
Sammy, there is not a single thing on God's green earth that would make Caleb Burley nor Cordell Hutchison not want to watch Jim Henson extensively for a long period of time.
You're telling me I can rewatch all of my favorite Muppet movies?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Tell me I can rewatch Emmett Otter's Jug Band? Hell yeah.
Holy shit, yeah.
You're telling me I get to watch Dark Crystal, Mirror Mask, The Labyrinth, Dark Crystal the series, Fraggle Rock? I'm in.
That's gonna be the crazy thing. You can't watch entire series. So
yeah, we would have to
do.
determine for Jim Henson a scoring criteria fitting that allowed us to go crazy, but also like you can't watch an entire series. So how many what length of time watching an episode's counted for 1 point?
Yeah.
Right?
I just want to real quick. I'm backing away from the mic just so I don't blow y'all up. Y'all think I can't watch all of Fraggle Rock in a day? I'm dedicated to this.
You literally can't, Caleb.
Oh, you want to bet? You want to bet 1.5 times speed? I got you. I'm caught up on One Piece. You think I don't have time to kill?
Caleb, you would not dare dishonor Jim's memory by watching Sped Up, would you?
I wouldn't. I would eat doozer sticks while I'm doing it, Cordell.
You would not eat doozer sticks while watching at 1.5 speed.
I would do it. You know who else would do it? Now that we've pretty much decided we're doing Jim Henson, it's Psychobilly Freakout. Reverend Horton Heat. Smoke 'em if you got 'em. That's our opening and closing theme song is Psychobilly Freakout, and it's good. It's a good song.
You like this episode, and you like that we're about to talk about Robert Pattinson for a whole month because he's hot and great. Then you should make like the Rocky Mountain Holiday with John Denver and the Muppets and rate us 5 stars on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And we also got YouTube if you want to check us out on there while you're watching some of your Muppets clips or the clip of Robert Pattinson that was deleted from Vanity Fair.
Fittingly, we have an email. It's from you'll see why it's fitting, but it's from Fielding. It's did you know, Junkhouse? Did you know sea otters have pockets in their armpits that they store their favorite rocks in sometimes? My sea otter buddy keeps a cyanide pill in there in case he ever gets found out. Thank you for continuing to support. Did you know? Sea otter.
Thank you, Fielding. I do see otter.
I like how, do you know how Google, we've talked about this before, but Google has these like auto-generated responses you can send. I like how the ones for this one are, thanks for the tip. That's funny. And I had no idea. Like,
No one told me. No one let me know, actually. Thank you, friend.
I really wish somebody would have let me know that about otters literally anytime before right now.
Click the I didn't know that and just send it. Just grip and rip.
Deal.
Grip and rip that. If you want to email us thoughtful things so we can grip and rip back to you with Google automated replies, do that at junkhousemmailbox@gmail.com.
And you know what? Just like we say every single week. Oh, Jim Henson's got some banger movies, y'all.
He's got some
I
banger movies.
Cannot overstate how excited I am for Jim Henson.
Oh, September.
Okay, but we have to be excited for July because Robert Pattinson also has some really good movies.
No, I am, but like my boy Jim.
It's a psychobilly freakout.